Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Wednesday, September 8th at 12:14 p.m. A little late today, tried my best. It's good to be here. Got some things on my mind, trying to figure out what's going on with the system. And I express that to you guys on a daily basis. The thing that catches my fancy is what's going on with the SEC and what was mentioned by Coinbase and Brian Armstrong about how they want to sue them to prevent the Lend platform from going live, which is a platform that's already live on Gemini, a platform that's already provided by BlockFi, a platform or a concept or a system that already exists, and that's where the capital gains comes from, or the yield comes from, for such platforms like Gemini's yield program and BlockFi as well, comes from the capital churn and the monetary functionality that's offered by DeFi systems. They're trying to draw a line in the sand. They're trying to defend the system. They're trying to defend their hegemony, where it's one currency for the planet. You know, it really does expand the geopolitical complexity with regard to how China fits into the picture, and all other countries, all other sovereign countries with their respective sovereign fiat system and defense and human emotion and what's mine and not wanting to share. You know, it's funny because we go back and forth between social constructs and social programs and how we don't like socialism. Yet, you know, contrarily, um, that's really what that's really what the dollar is. It's about control and not social. We don't want the world to be this social system where everyone has the right to express the way they store value on an individual basis. They want to take away that freedom. Yet, what's going on in this country with regard to social programs and these infrastructure bills and this and the $3.5 trillion version where they're socializing. That's why they're trying to claw back all that excess capital via increased taxation of the wealthy to socialize that capital. So, you know, I see that contrast between uh, socialist tendencies and uh, and what the U.S. government does with regard to its policy of protecting its hegemony. And that's so frustrating. All this system is filled with is contradiction after contradiction after contradiction, and it's tiresome. You know, the title of the stream was a little different than the Twitter post mentioning the stream. It's because it's a hard concept to really try and grasp your head around. In the end, you know, folks are on the stream. You guys are listening to me because we explore the DeFi space. We know the yield and opportunity that exists for us because of the protocols that shadowy supercoders are creating for us. But to really understand that, we need to at least try to understand the macro system, the sovereigns, the countries, the government policies, or even the organizations above them, like the IMF. And the better we understand them, the better we understand the playground in which we're trying to operate in. And when you really zoom out, you know, you kind of are encountered with a Wachowski moment. And it's full on red pill, blue pill, because once you realize that you go to work, you put money in a bank account, you pay bills, you're operating in a blue pill world, a system, a system of control that was designed for you. And they'll always say it's for the benefit of all. You know, you're contributing to the system. The system works because of you. And you get picture some draconian voice, some draconian narrator in the background. Uh, and that's just disturbing. We all deserve the right to express the way we want to store value. And you could always do it. Well, you couldn't always do it with gold. They tried to take our gold in the 1900s. And now we have new ways to express the way we want to store value, and they're trying to fuck it up also. And it's infuriating. And they do it under the guise of protection. The protection is relative to the status quo system, their system of hegemonious control. You have to express your value in the shit that we've given you for the last 100 years. Stocks and government debt and bonds and fiat. Nobody wants to use that shit anymore. I sure as hell don't. You're not getting anywhere with that stuff. And that's what's so frustrating about it. It's literally a confrontation. Confrontation between these government policies, these government agencies, and our interests. And it's clear and more evident than ever that everything that they're doing is not in our interest. And that's really highlighted by the way Brian Armstrong framed it. And Bruce Fenton wrote a nice comment here. This was nice. Somewhere in an alternative universe, Brian Armstrong gets a phone call. Brian, government customer service here. We were so sad to see your post. You're a big taxpayer, American innovator, and job creator. We are humble public servants here to help. Let's hammer this out ASAP. Can you imagine? That's a system where the government is for the people, protecting their interests. Gensler says, protect investors. That's how you fucking protect investors. You respond to their phone call, you provide support, you help, you do things in the public's interest. All right, let's get to some comments. Let me get over to the main screen. Let's get this party started. System of control that cannot be exited. I mean, we could try, but they're going to fight it. Today's episode is sponsored by Change Angel, the non-custodial swap exchange for social goods. Stop depositing on exchanges, not your keys. Not your keys, not your crypto, non-custodial DeFi, or nothing at all. Bam, let's pop it over to the main screen and see who's in the stream. Bees Irish? Hello. Yeah. Killis in the house. Spencer, Craig, my man. Ear End, what's up? Moralabi, hey Noah, what's up, what's up? Michael, just read that thread about Coinbase. Yeah. Kind of tried to surmise it with my opening monologue. Mix in the house. I was wondering about terms you're using. What's the difference between deflationary and disinflationary? Disinflationary is decreasing inflation over time. So if you have a monetary policy that's emitting 1,000 coins a day, and then in a month it's emitting 800 coins a day, that's disinflation. That's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is disinflationary. It's not deflationary. I'm pretty sure that's you can't really question that. It's kind of obvious. So, and deflationary is you have 1,000 coins max supply, and then you have 900 coins max supply, then you have 800 coins max supply, and now you have less and less and less, and your max supply is deflating. So that's how I see disinflation and deflation expressed in various crypto protocols. Tavares, Florida, in the house. Drizza. Moralabi, my guess is disinflation is focusing on lowering interest rates and quantitative easing, while deflation is negative interest rates and limiting the amount of currency in circulation. There's very different ways to process inflation, disinflation, and deflation from a macroeconomic standpoint and legacy financial system. For me, it's much more clear cut in DeFi protocols, particularly because there's control over the currency, whereas the Fed has kind of indirect control over the currency. Yes, they could print, but there's no deflationary pressures. There's no burn components. I guess there's incentivized supply disruption of dollars, but we don't give a shit. We don't really talk about the value of the dollar relative to the stuff we're buying, but we talk about the value of Bitcoin relative to, let's say we want to buy Ethereum. It's much more complicated in the crypto space because everything's valued in everything. Whereas in legacy finance, everything is valued in the dollar. That's their hegemony. That's their system of control. That's that placation, that comfort. Oh, let us comfort you. You go into a store and everything is fucking valued in dollars. It's easy. So you don't have to think. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to use your brain. You don't have to get educated and try and understand that you're operating in a system of control that's literally designed to make things easy for you. And that frustrates the crap out of me. Where's the opportunity? Where's the opportunity? Anyway, I digress and I express my frustration frequently on this channel. John's in the house. What should we all do to fight our individual financial freedom? Call senators. It's easy to just be frustrated and angry and just, take it out on yourself. Arguably what's needed is organization. Um, class action, lawsuits, but, that requires time investment. You could call your senators, and it's relatively trivial. Most senators, one person, one voice going to influence the senator's policy choices. So what's needed is organization. So we got a group together. You go on the internet, you go on Twitter, and you find the people that are organizing, and they're there. But that's how you participate and contribute. Probably a good way to express anger rather than just being angry and yelling that it's a system of control. Because that's all I seem to do lately. They should get a little bit more organized and structured with how I express my anger rather than just vocally. Joe, I love my Tarot Expo pizza shop. Pizza shops. Now, I have consolidated. I have, it's hard. We make hard choices, and I believe that my logic is sound. Obviously, my own subjective logic. So I took my capital that I had on XJoe, my capital that I had on Expo, and I deployed it to CVXCRV. There's 70 something percent returns. You're going to get nice returns on Expo, and there's nice returns on XJoe as well. But ultimately, those are AMMs on the respective platform, Avalanche and Phantom. But Curve is on Phantom, and Curve is going to Avalanche. So why am I diversifying? Diversification is a lack of conviction. And I have more conviction than ever in the Curve protocol. Seems very obvious to me where it'll be in 5 to 10 years. Bear in mind, I think in terms of long time horizons. So Curve has the network effect, it has the superior protocol characteristics and attributes in countless regards, and we're early. So why would I deploy in a diversified fashion? That's my mentality, my methodology, my logic and reason. Doesn't mean it's the correct course of action, and it doesn't mean you should not diversify. Expo has the great characteristics that I look for. So does XJoe, and so does a variety of other assets. I'm liking SPEL, and you guys know what I feel about VEFXS. So I'm far from overly concentrated. I have a large concentrated position of about 50-55% into the Curve protocol, but I have plenty of exposure to protocols outside the scope of an AMM. But from an AMM standpoint, that's my primary capital allocation. FXS is not it's not an AMM, but it's extremely lucrative because of the VEFXS position. I'm cranking out 60 something percent returns on stablecoins. Now, I get tempted to maybe take more dollar denominated leverage to juice those returns. And, I often think as well, if I could get 60% returns on stablecoins by having a large enough VFXS position, why am I taking on the risk profile associated with the curve asset volatility? I mean, you're getting 40 something percent on MIM, and some of the stablecoin positions on Convex are cranking out significant double digit yield. We'll second guess ourselves, we'll doubt ourselves. And in the end, you can only move around your capital so much without experiencing excessive slippage, which basically is excessive losses. Food for thought. I'd like to thank the SEC for protecting me from the $60,000 DYDX airdrop. Yeah, how about them apples? I go on DYDX and I got nothing. Spectacular. Do we get to say that's a tax write-off? I would argue that that's pretty angry because I used DYDX when they first came out, and I'm pretty sure it would have been a fat airdrop. But I log on and I got nothing. So I'm pretty angry. Pretty angry. Mr. JJ, hello, my cult leader. Show me the way. Not the antithesis of that. You guys have your own ideas as well, as you should. And you should. It's not for me to say. I never tell you guys what to do. I'm literally just talking about options and choices. And what I liked, what makes me quite satisfied about this stream is the options and choices I tell you help distill the market. And when I originally started the stream, I used the phrase "peer through the madness." We're not buying Shiba crap. We're not buying Doge here, nor would I ever advocate it. In fact, I advocate against it. We're buying functional assets that capture protocol transaction fees or are deflationary assets or have constant buy pressure, assets like SPEL, where debt interest payments are used to buy back SPEL on the open market. So that's a constant buy pressure. It's not my intent, nor was it ever, to highlight specific assets and say these are the ones you choose. It's to provide options and clarity over the assets we talk about so that you guys can make your own choices what's best for you. Look, plenty of folks are probably still into Balancer or LP positions for that matter, or Uniswap, or probably have a larger position in Bancor than I do. That's a heck of a yield generating asset, a yield capturing asset with a remarkable monetary policy. A lot of folks on here are into Cosmos and Polkadot, which I don't talk about probably as often as I should. Talked about it more last year. And now that the price action is decent, probably should talk about it more. Anyway, Melik's in the house. What is a pizza shop? A pizza shop is a business where you buy the shop for $10, and that shop makes you $1 profit per day, and that's your income. So if you buy something that makes you money on a daily basis, it's a pizza shop. The analogy, maybe you get my point. Folks know the pizza shop analogy. So if you own a pizza shop, you're making a couple $1,000s a week in income. If you own a position in like CVX CRV, you're getting money on a weekly, well, frankly, on a continuous and every second basis. If you own XBoo, if you own XJO, if you own a variety of assets that capture transaction fees, if you own an LP position, you're getting probably even incentivized returns. So you're getting an income stream. Looking at allocating capital in the crypto space as a business rather than a capital or a traditional equities investment. It's not to be bought and sold. What a waste of time and effort. And maybe buying and selling is how I got to where I am. So that gives me pause. And, as much as I discourage that behavior, that's definitely a valid way of significantly growing a portfolio. It takes much more time listen, if you get a 50, 60, 70% on your money, that changes everything. Now you could actually save. And you can't do that with legacy financial products and services. So, the questions we dig into really is how much risk you want to take, and what is it worth to get, a 10x on your money and grow $1,000 into $10,000 and then $10,000 into $100,000. It takes a lot of risk. And I don't like that risk anymore. Maybe it's just that I'm in a luxurious position that I don't have to take it. So I can't argue with that. And I appreciate folks that that tell me that not everyone can do the pizza shop approach, or not everyone wants to do it. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. What I have is thoughts, and I like to provoke conversation, and sometimes I like to provoke controversy. Andrew, Noah, fist bumps. Captain Weber's in the house. Hit the like button. We can do better. 41 people in the stream, 22 likes. Certainly can do better. Noah, what are EVMs on Solana you talked about last stream? Oh, RenVMs? FTX Exchange partnered with Ren last year, and RenVMs are going to be the bridge, the cross-chain bridge for Solana. But RenVMs work with all chains, literally all of them at this point. And RenVMs are being expanded to incorporate support for all ERC20s. So, you might have a variety of bridges that you use nowadays to get from Ethereum to Avalanche to Phantom to BSC or whatever. But yeah, RenVM is kind of like it's like the quant. It's like the overledger of interoperability because it kind of hits all chains, and you're gonna, a RenVM capitalizes on the transaction fees potentially across all chains. So to me, that historically was a tantalizing opportunity, which we got into RenVMs back in March of last year, and I'm talking about them since ChaosNet days. Wow, before they even launched. So that's RenVMs. Ren protocol. That's a complicated asset to think about taking a position in. It has appreciated significantly. It was up at 85 cents for a while. You need 100,000 Ren for a Ren VM. Ren's up at 67 cents. So, $67,000 for a single Ren VM. It's a pretty penny, and it definitely doesn't produce the amount of capital. It's not a good ROI. There's not a lot of ROI at this point. So, it's a speculative spec play, uh, at least with regard to a return on investment. But it's pretty obvious from a technology standpoint. I mean, I think it's undeniable. It's really obvious for this shit to play out as expected. They're going to be swapping everything everywhere because they sit on top of everything. It's a decentralized custodian. And it does so much more than just being a decentralized custodian of private keys. Careless clarity, there's a novel idea. Yeah, a lot of the things I talk about, I don't have the ultimate clarity on. But that's kind of the point. We got to start talking about shit to at least attempt to have clarity. So no better place to talk about stuff that I don't understand than with people that help me understand it in many regards. So thank you all. What's the better platform to work with Bancor? You mentioned it a few times, but I forgot. Getting old. What's the better platform to work with? Well, Bancor itself ultimately is a platform that I still have a position, probably because I don't want to take it out. I don't want to reset the multipliers and all that stuff associated with their implementation. And frankly, I think their protocol is worthy of the capital that I've had there for probably a year at this point. Definitely nothing to complain about. And speculatively, over the next 5 to 10 years, if I got 40 grand or so, give or take, in Bancor, it'd be nice if it's worth 400,000 or 4 million. So why am I just gonna not let it sit there? Let it sit there. I didn't buy it for 40 grand. You like Curve and Sushi because they reach many blockchains. What about Cosmos? Do you apply the same logic? It's not an AMM, but technology that connects AMMs on different chains. Yeah, so I typically shy away from platform tokens. Like I don't have any Phantom. I don't have any Avalanche. I have Ethereum because it's Ethereum and it has the network effect, and it is the biggest. It's the Fifth Avenue of blockchains. of smart contract blockchains. I like Curve and Sushi, as you say, Joe, but what do I think about that in the context of platform tokens like Cosmos? I do have Polkadot as well. I think those two platforms are extremely early. So, like owning Cosmos, and even though they're to the tune of billions of dollars a piece, because they don't have the consumption yet, but they have all the infrastructure. Just very powerful. And really, what piques my interest the most is the China narrative with regard to Cosmos hubs and Polkadot and parachains. Because Cosmos is basically in the BSN vis-a-vis IrisNet. IrisNet is a Cosmos hub, and all Cosmos hubs are interoperable considering the IBC. So if one's in, they're all in. And Polkadot's in, and Ethereum's in the BSN. So all these protocols, frankly, I have the three platform assets that hit the China narrative that I'm interested in. There's a bunch of other blockchains, but they're not really interesting, like Neo and stuff like that. Ethereum, Polkadot, and Cosmos hit the China narrative the hardest, in my opinion. And you guys know what I think about the China narrative. I've sure as hell talked about that enough. I have convinced my father to purchase ETH 2 years ago, Adam 1 year ago, and Sushi this morning on the pullback. My man, Captain. I like Sushi. I've never I haven't been able to take a position in it because I'd be diversifying. I'd be spreading myself too thin. And I don't, that's just me personally. And this is a perfect example of what I tell everyone. Uh, I share ideas about how to think of assets, the attributes and characteristics of what to look for. The last thing we talk about is what to do and how to do it. I don't do tutorials, boys and girls. I don't do shill fests. I'm not BitBoy. Mixed. Ren virtual machine. Yes, that is correct. Rejected. Is there a risk adverse day trading strategy you can recommend in practice? There is no risk adverse day trading strategy at all. Day trading, you could lose your money. Malik, while my listening skills are subpar. No, man, it's all good. We're here. We're here. I got you. Take your time. Um, can you check out SIF chain? It bridges Ethereum and USDT to the Cosmos hub. Cool. Um, well, I might. Tend to refrain to check out projects uh, out of fear of temptation. So, I mean, there's so many protocols that are working on bridges like Hop Protocol, and if you even Abracadabra has a MIM bridge now. So, I effectively avoid temptation nicely, and I want to remain concentrated. I don't need to be spread out. I need to do what I need to deploy capital to the protocol and asset that I believe is going to outperform. And I'm already diversified extensively. So if anything, if I'm adding to anything in this kind of market, um, it's probably going to be to my primary position. I mean, you got my primary positions are as follows: Curve, Ethereum, is still number 3, but Ren is denominated in 3 RenVMs. Frac shares has crept up there, and Cosmos. I have 5 large positions. The rest are minor. So 90% of the portfolio is in 5 positions, and I'm probably going to take on a spell position, which would be the 6th largest. So I'll have 6 assets comprising 90% of the portfolio. Food for thought, boys and girls. Yeah, I'm good to go, Daniel. I appreciate it. More lobby. Ren is also an interoperable bridge between multiple chains. The next stop for DeFi is interoperability. Yep. It's not just smart contracts, but it's the interop. And that's, we've been talking about interop for a long time now. The Bees Irish, Beazlerish? One of the two. Well, what is the China narrative? New watcher. Hey, welcome, welcome. So, China narrative. China has the BSN. China is releasing their digital yuan. China is full on digital currency. Unlike the U.S., everything at the national level uh, is in support of cryptocurrencies and pushing their sovereign CBDC, the digital yuan. And the BSN is their state run Department of Blockchain Technology. That's the best way to think about it from the US perspective. And the Chinese Department of Blockchain Technology is fully integrated with Ethereum, Cosmos hubs, and Polkadot parachains, amongst other blockchains. But that's generally the China narrative. So China is significantly further ahead than the U.S., and to such a degree that is the U.S. really doing anything at all? I don't think they're doing anything. I don't think they realize how dangerous or bad it is to be this far behind. Like China's going to be live in a couple of years, and they're already deploying tests with hundreds of thousands and millions of people using their Chinese national digital currency. And all you have to do is go on Twitter and search for the BSN. I mean, BSN. And this is the Chinese National Department of Blockchain Technology. That's basically what this is. And it's inspirational in many regards. It is. Diesel Hound, Gary, a snake of the SEC, is protecting the banks, not investors. I mean, just tell Coinbase the rules and regulations and let them offer their product. I don't understand. Just like Bruce Fenton said, why would they do? Why would they do the behavior? Why would they respond as they have? It's kind of like tipping your hand as a poker player. They're tipping their hands. You know whose interest they're serving. Lisa, hi again, Noah. Is there some way to interact with convex curve on Ethereum without paying the mad gas fees? No. Um, this is also another consideration for like XJO and XBOO. With smaller portfolios, you could deploy to the other networks that are significantly cheaper to interact with. You got to remember, food for thought. Just because Ethereum's expensive doesn't mean the other chains are going to be any more popular over time. It really comes down to like Fifth Avenue and designer brands, and just because something's expensive doesn't mean it's any less popular. In fact, it makes it even more popular. So there is no disrupting Ethereum. There's no overcoming its network effect. It doesn't work like that. It could be 1,000 Gwei a day. Look, 300 Gwei right now for a fast transaction. It's gonna be like $300 for a transaction. It's not going anywhere because someone rolling around or throwing around a $500,000 deposit, a million, 5 million, $10 million deposit on whatever protocol doesn't give a shit about a $200, $300, $400 transaction fee. So food for thought. But there's the alternative chains, and I like XBOO and I like XJO. They're volatile assets, just like everything. Avalanche and Phantom are less mature than Ethereum. That doesn't mean they're going to be increasingly volatile necessarily, because we sure as hell know that Ethereum platforms are very volatile. So it's just different and not as concentrated as I'd like to be. That's why I don't have deployment to them, but I do like them. Beasel Rish, amazing. Glad I'm a cosmonaut. Yes. Captain Weber, spell token on mainnet. Spell, what's the attraction here? Spell, so Abracadabra, you're able to leverage positions and take on MIM debt. That MIM debt has an interest rate. The interest paid on MIM debt is used to buy back Spell on the open market. So there's a constant buy pressure for Spell, fueled by debt interest payments. So basically, the more MIM, or the more MIM expands, the more debt is owed, the more interest payments are owed, the higher the interest and the higher the buy pressure on Spell. So a constant buy pressure has the potential to significantly appreciate over time. but it's also capturing those debt interest payments. So transaction fees and debt interest payments are two strategies or narratives that I like to capitalize on. Ikra, will this live be uploaded as video, or I can watch it back? Always. I have hundreds of videos on Twitter thus far. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, dating back to the early last year. Let's wrap up the stream for today, 12:49 p.m. on a Wednesday, September 8th. 47 people in the stream, 34 likes. We did pretty good today. As always, tell everyone to subscribe. I got to some office hours lately. I got to some office hours yesterday. So I'm going to be throwing it up on Twitter when I go live for office hours. So if you guys have any one-on-one questions you want to ask about macroeconomics, or do you want to understand maybe a variety of protocols, you want to ask some questions, or maybe even have questions about how you structured your protocol and my opinions. I'm more than happy to help to the best of my abilities. I'll post it on Twitter, and you can subscribe to it. It's in my Twitter profile as well, and it'll email you when I go live. Otherwise, as always, tell everyone to subscribe. After party on Discord, which is also linked to in the profile. And I wish everyone a wonderful day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Peace.